December 1945. World War II is over, or so the world believes. But behind closed doors, a message is delivered to the man who led tanks across Europe with unmatched ferocity. You're not cleared for this. General George S. Patton had just heard an order he was never meant to hear. A secret so dangerous, it could have cost him everything. Tonight, we uncover the story of the order, the general, and the shocking history that history books almost forgot. Early life and military career. West Point, World War I exploits rise to fame in World War II. North Africa, Sicily, France, and Germany unique style. Fast, aggressive armored maneuvers and psychological tactics his personality. Fearless, outspoken, controversial. Why he was both revered and feared by soldiers, allies, and enemies alike. Patton was not just a general. He was a storm on the battlefield, a man who believed war was an art, and he was its master. Germany surrenders. Allied nations celebrate victory. Patton refuses to relax, predicting a looming Soviet threat. His outspoken criticism of Allied post-war plans. How his bold opinions start worrying politicians and intelligence agencies. While the world celebrated peace, Patton was already thinking about the next war. And he wasn't shy about speaking his mind. The context of the order. Classified military discussions about post-war Europe. Patton overhears a conversation about a top-secret operation. The words, "You're not cleared for this." Possible reasons why he wasn't cleared: political sensitivity, intelligence secrecy, Soviet negotiations. For a man who had faced enemy tanks, artillery, and death countless times, being denied access to information was almost unbearable. But the content of that order was meant to remain hidden. Patton refuses to ignore what he heard, begins questioning Allied leadership decisions. Writes letters, meets with officers, gives interviews, starts to gain attention as a loose cannon in political and military circles. Patton wasn't just a soldier. He was a general who demanded answers. And demanding answers made him a problem for those in power. High-level leaders debate Patton's future reassignment to less critical posts, isolation from major commands. The irony: a general who survived hundreds of battles now sidelined without fighting. Patton had survived artillery, ambushes, and tanks. But politics could strike in silence. The man who knew too much was being carefully watched. Criticism of Soviet expansion, concern about Germany's post-war occupation, letters warning of future conflicts. How these statements increased tension with politicians and intelligence agencies. He was a soldier speaking truths that others weren't ready to hear, and that made him dangerous. Patton reassigned to ceremonial posts, removed from major strategic decisions. His frustration and warnings continue in private circles. The consequences of hearing the forbidden order begin to take shape. Patton had the knowledge, but no battlefield to wield it. For the first time, he was powerless to act on what he knew. December 1945, car accident in Germany, low-speed collision, yet Patton critically injured. The driver survives. Patton dies days later. Suspicious circumstances and unanswered questions. The man who survived countless ambushes and artillery shells couldn't survive a single, ordinary accident. Was it fate, or something more? Analysis of the Forbidden Order's content and implications. Possible Cold War intelligence secrets, political sensitivities, and why Patton had to be silenced. Patton's legacy as a general who spoke too much. You're not cleared for this. A sentence that may have cost a life and shaped the early post-war world. How Patton is remembered in history, movies, books, and documentaries inspired by him. Lessons of courage, curiosity, and the cost of knowing too much. Reflection on secrecy, leadership, and history's hidden moments. Patton may be gone, but his story reminds us that some truths are too powerful to be heard, and some men are too bold to be ignored. If you are fascinated by this story, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more untold history. Comment below: do you think Patton was silenced, or was it really just an accident? Share this video with anyone who loves military legends and secret history.